This is a video showing you how to do a mean or an X-bar chart when you know the standard deviation. In this case, we actually know it. Rarely is that the case. And so in the other video, I show you how to do an X-bar or a mean chart when you don't know the standard deviation. And therefore, you have to use the table. And so in that second video, you'll see how to use the table and also create an R chart. Because to use the table, you have to know the average range for the samples. In this case, we don't know that, but we do know the standard deviation. So we can use this technique for calculating the X-bar or the mean chart. The key to it is that we need to modify this standard deviation and reduce it based on our sample size. So what we're going to do, instead of using it as is, we simply take the standard deviation and we divide it by the square root of the sample size, the small n. And that will give us our modified standard deviation. And now to do the upper control limit and lower control limit, it's pretty straightforward. The upper control limit for an X-bar or a mean chart is simply the mean plus whatever our z is. In this case, it's 3 sigma, or z equals 3, or 99.73% of our distribution. We will multiply 3 z's times our modified standard deviation and add that to the mean, and that gives us our upper control limit. Our lower control limit is just the opposite. We'll subtract then. We'll take the mean and we'll subtract. We'll go 3 z's of our standard deviation, our modified standard deviation. And that gives us 47.69. And so the unit they're using for measurement is units. So this process, we would compare our samples in the future and to see if they average between 52 units and 48 units, 47.69 units, and that process would be in control. So the key to doing an X-bar or a mean chart this way, when you know the standard deviation, is simply making that modification, which is you take the standard deviation, you divide it by the square root of the sample size, the small n, and then take however many of those that the information dictates. So in this case, z or sigma is 3, and so we added 3 of those to our mean and we subtracted 3 of those, and that gives us for when you don't know the standard deviation, then of course you have to use the mean chart, the X-bar chart, using the table, and that is shown to you in the other video along with the R chart.